And we're live. Good afternoon. This is Jim Miller, and this show is Unlocking Personal Leadership Live. This is episode number 47. Tuesdays, we talk about longevity. And I'm very excited today, change up in our format to have with us to talk about longevity, Mr. Dany Sekunda. He's the Chief Operations Officer at BFF Medical. You've got several locations. One of them here in Temecula, California, and I'm excited to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Jim. Yes, this is kind of our flagship and the main location where we're offering our services and the unique approach towards longevity.
Yeah, well, longevity is something that is near and dear to my heart. Recently, relatively recently, because I was pushing my body so hard, working 14 hours a day, not eating right, gaining weight, stressing myself out, not sleeping well, all the bad things. And my body just basically filed divorce papers on me back in 2020. And so I had to make some choices and some changes. And fortunately for me in my life, I had some really good people surrounding me, and they gave me some really good advice. And one of them was the particular gentleman that I'm thinking of is a longevity expert, and he gave me some really, really great wisdom. And I've been able to put that into my program in my life, and I love to share it now. And I think BFF Medical and what you guys are doing is helping people along that journey for themselves. So I'd like to explore some of that. And there's some really cool stuff on your website that we can talk about today. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, what's your personal passion for longevity and wellness?
Well, this is kind of understanding where I'm coming from. It started originally more as a business idea, collaborating with my wife, creating our dream come true and opening a clinic. And searching for identity and what we're going to be special and what's going to make us unique and different, my story intertwined into it. And we realized that what happens with most people with current healthcare systems is that you're chasing after your health after already something is wrong. So you're trying to maintain and mitigate symptoms and cover up symptoms. That's what happens. So if you go to primary care, something hurts. What hurts? This is the symptom. This is pretty much let's mask it and move on. And I had a few life-altering moments and near-death experiences that made me understand that health is very cheap when you have it. When you don't, it doesn't have any price to it. You cannot pay enough to get it. And going through those experiences brought me into this business full force, understanding that health is something you need to be proactive about. Lack of symptoms doesn't mean health. So bringing BFF together, it's beyond functional fortitude. And the idea is that instead of trying to chase after to repair what's already wrong, let's not get it to the place that it's wrong. Let's get our members, because we are a membership-based practice and we are a medical practice at the same time. We don't go the prescriptive approach. We try to go, and usually are very successful with functional medicine. And it's more about, hey, what will make you feel good and be with your best health? And we can prove it on labs. It's not just, oh, I took a supplement, I'm feeling much better. It's a part of it. But you know what? Now you don't need your cholesterol medication. Now you don't need statins. Now you don't need blood pressure medication because you are doing so much better. So after having those experiences myself, near-death experience, I had 3 surgeries and I ended up spending over 4 months at a hospital because of an undiagnosed condition. And I realized how important health is. Like any guy, typical guy, you don't realize how important it is until you don't have it or until something is very wrong. And it's extremely easy to get used to feeling not well because it doesn't happen right away. It happens gradually. And then you're just getting used to feeling a little bit less every day. And
Like
so,
that old maxim of the frog in the water,
oh
the
yeah,
boiling water, right? If you turn the
yeah,
heat up really fast, the frog jumps out. But if you
yep.
turn the heat
And
up slowly,
mhm.
eventually it ends up dying because it doesn't know to jump out in time.
Yeah, because something's wrong. But if something's wrong right away, you're like, oh, something's wrong. I'm gonna go take care of it. But if it's gradually getting worse, we don't pay attention to it. And for specifically for men and for women, it has to do a lot with hormonal health. We're living longer, and we're living much more stressful lives as far as after a certain age. And think about the human machine. It's not necessarily designed originally. It's designed to reproduce, and then nature kind of says, okay, now you don't really need to be at your prime, so let's start breaking you apart. And
Yeah, boy, I feel that. It's amazing. I'm trying to keep everything together, and it's a full-time job doing that. But it's and having expertise and knowledge is so important, and having the resources like what you guys are doing at BFF Medical to have the the best of the best from we'll get into that in a little bit. You've got so much on your website. It's incredible what you can do. What's the who's the primary person that you serve? If you could describe your ideal patient. You call
it's
them patients or clients?
they are patients. We are a
Patients.
medical clinic.
Okay.
And and it's an interesting question because I really spend a lot of time thinking about it. The primary patients are people that are becoming proactive about their health.
So
As
that could be any age at all.
truly is. And we have patients that range from their early 20s or mid 20s all the
Mhm.
way to late 70s. The most common denominator between our patients are people that are like, hey, I'm done chasing when I'm already having pills and I'm already on like something's really wrong. I want to be healthier. I want to be proactive about my health. And the majority of our patients falls between 35 to 55,
Okay.
professionals that understand the value of preventative, of proactive.
Yeah. Because you guys aren't just doing cosmetic stuff.
We're actually, cosmetics is the smallest part of our practice. We don't offer a lot of cosmetic services. We don't offer, for example, any fillers.
So it's not
We,
window washing or paint on the pig. This is real deal
yes,
internal fortification of your immune system, of your
correct.
bone structure, of your the cells down to the cellular level, right?
We start from the inside out. So, what's unique about our model is that we are a membership based practice.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that with every monthly payment of membership, which is only 149, you'd actually receive a treatment. Not when we say treatment, it's not necessarily treating a condition. That's the reactive way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's being proactive, for example, having an IV to improve your immune system or get yourself ready for flu season. It can be a lymphatic massage. It can be shockwave therapy to improve blood circulation and help with soft tissue damage. It can be functional medicine to address an actual thing like high cholesterol or blood sugar. There is so much, but
And
cosmetics is genuinely, we do have quite a few services that are more of a cosmetic nature, like face RF cavitation and plasma jet or more dermatological services. But again, they're the smallest part. Usually, when we start, it comes from within. Every member that joins into our offer, into our buying offer, starts with a very extensive blood work
mm,
where we check hormone levels. That's something that people maybe are not aware, but primary care doesn't really care about hormone levels. It's not going to kill you, you're just not going to feel great. When men have low testosterone, so are women. It creates depression. It creates a feeling of frailty. It creates a lot of side effects that are very medical, but
mm,
they're not acute. So they're not covered most of the times by most insurances.
right.
And
But they affect your energy level, your daily life.
they affect your everything, libido, mental fogginess. The list is endless how important it is. But it's not, it's not acute. Let me give you an example. This is where it gets fascinating. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is extremely important. It's not just a vitamin, it's actually a hormone. And it's extremely important for the body to build muscle fibers, to create healthy circulation, to create a healthy neurological nervous system that works and communicates. That hormone is extremely important. But chronically, people are usually with the modern lifestyle are very low on vitamin D. Primary care used to test for vitamin D. But when insurance company realized that everybody's low on vitamin D, but nobody dies from low vitamin D, they stopped testing for it. It's no longer in the
Oh,
guidelines.
they don't die right away.
They don't die, so
Yeah,
do not
but
make.
it sets you up for chronic illness later, right?
Yes, yes. It's kind of funny. Well, it's not. It's sad. Looking behind the veil, I can give you examples of conversations that I've had with patients.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. It's for example a patient that telling me that primary care won't prescribe. The patient is pre-diabetic, but primary care won't prescribe until the A1C, which is an indicator that's used by primary care. There are three indicators, but that's one of the major ones. Is not going to hit a certain level, they can't prescribe. So they're just going to let that patient become diabetic in order to prescribe something to treat diabetes.
Right.
That
So
will
whose
lead.
responsibility is it to fix that?
Well, unfortunately, big pharma is not going to fix it. So it's left in the hands
Right.
of people to take care of themselves. Big pharma is
There you go.
about lifelong customers and not about healthy people. Healthy people are not good clients.
For the doctors, for they're good for you.
They're good for us, but they're not
Healthy
good for
people
big
are good.
pharma.
They're investing in their health. I don't know, I haven't checked recently, but I spend, several $100s a month on supplements, and I eat foods that are organic, and I eat, meat that's grass fed, finished, wild caught fish, pasture raised chicken and eggs. And, everything is fresh as I can find it from local produce. And, and that's expensive,
It is.
but
And
it's so worth it to me. Right.
it is. And Jim, don't you find it bizarre the fact that it's so much cheaper to eat fast food?
It's not, well, short term. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
had a professor in college. He used to say short term decisions have long term consequences.
yeah.
That was probably the best little phrase I got out of my 4 years in college.
I hear it because it is for a lot of families. Just loading up at whatever fast food chain is much more affordable than actually going and buying food that is cleaner. You would think less chemicals should be not as expensive, but it is extremely. It makes it hard to eat well, and it's addictive. Carbs are addictive.
Oh,
Grease
carbs
is
and sugar.
addictive.
Yeah.
Our brain is still primal. Our evolution, we became so spoiled in the last like 70 years, right? Before it, there were a lot more hardships in our day to day life.
Mm-hmm.
So, realizing that and understanding that our brain isn't geared to realize that it's not good for us because it was such a scarce resource, sugar. That's why we have such a high obesity percentage. People don't make the adjustment, they just consume what momentarily, very momentarily feels good. It has very dire long term
Well,
consequences.
even in our culture, in our society, going to an event, for example, over a local event at Pachanga. I was at it was a state of the city meeting, and there was, all the dignitaries were there, and they had a breakfast, a catered breakfast that came in. It was wonderful. They had all the things I can't eat, all the pastries and the pancakes and waffles and all, and the only thing I could really eat was the bacon. and that was good, but everything else was all carbs and sugar. And
Yeah.
I've decided, I've made the decision in my life that that's for me poison, because I know what it does to my body because I've studied it now.
Yeah. Knowledge is power, and understanding what's going on. Education is one of the biggest things that we do, because
Yeah.
demystifying the idea of not knowing what triglycerides are, or thinking that this is some sort of knowledge that you need to be a doctor to understand, that's something that's changing. That's the beauty of living in our age. Everything is so available. And if you're looking to do research and understand, there are so many good resources. There are some bad ones too, but there are so many good resources to help guide you in a journey, and truly understand what's going on and
Mm.
understand the effects. Because a lot of things that are not acute, as to primary care, as to most primary care providers, it's just not acute enough. It's going to be enough to make you feel bad. It's going to be enough to make you not heal well. It's going to be enough to damage your immune system. Is it going to kill you? No. Are you going to feel not great at all? Yes. And this is the biggest thing of why we go so in depth when bringing on somebody. We go to a full panel covering hormones,
Mm.
which primary care won't. We're covering vitamin deficiencies. We're covering heart health, liver health, kidney function. So we're going above and beyond getting a holistic picture of a person. And then we understand a bit better what will it take to get that person to be in their best health versus, you know, guessing. So we're not guessing. We actually know what it's going to take. And results come fairly quick, but it took years to get to a place. So it takes a little bit of time to get out of it too.
I noticed on your site, with the options that you've got, um, in the weight loss area, particularly, you seem to focus on the liver. Why is that? Is that true? Number one, and if so, why is that?
So there are a few things that we focus on weight loss, but detoxifying the liver allows. The liver is the filtration system. Liver and kidneys are the filters of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Liver helps break down things, and liver is something that has the potential to heal fast and regrow and recuperate much faster than any other organ. Detoxifying the liver allows better absorption of nutrients, allows any medicinal support to be more effective, and supplements to be much, much more effective.
Mm.
We would focus for some patients on the liver, but for other patients, it might be a hormonal issue.
Mm.
For example, it's well proven and well studied that low testosterone for men and for women will make it almost impossible to lose belly fat. It just has a direct correlation. So that's when we're doing the hormone panel. Although somebody came in and joined the program for weight loss, not for hormones, we understand that if that specific person wants to reach their goal, it's not just going to be suppressing appetite or detoxifying the liver. It will take us balancing their hormones, that they will start getting that results and feeling much better.
Mm.
Kind of touched on how important it is. The most important thing has to do with how you feel more than anything.
How do you measure that? How does
So
somebody
that's
measure that?
actually very how you feel, how you measure how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, there are not a lot of silver bullets in wellness or healthcare. Everything is a process and everything has a price. But hormone therapy is one of those things that is, because when you're balancing hormones for a man and you bring them back to their prime hormone level, which makes you feel that vigor, vitality, libido of an 18-year-old kid that has everything, and your body gears towards it, it's undescribable. But I've yet to see an unhappy patient that tells me I don't like to feel vigor. So there are qualitative ways, questionnaires and scores that science and statistics showed with every study that was done, because it's well studied. There are a significant amount of systematic studies that show the increase of vitality, the increase of libido. So it's well documented. But for me, it's a personal experience as well. Opening the practice, we're a new practice, and we opened late last year,
Mm-hmm.
put a lot of stress on me. And I
Okay. Yeah.
started getting to be that grumpy and behaving like when my wife was you behaving like a grumpy old man, because I was feeling like that, because I was genuinely feeling like that. And being here, we have a lab, we draw blood on the spot.
Uh-huh.
It took me a while until I was like, okay, let's do my labs. And my testosterone was way below where anybody would be feeling good. Stress is the biggest killer. Lack of sleep, stress kills testosterone. It just kills it. So after doing bioidentical hormone, which is pellet therapy, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy with the subcutaneous insertion, it's once every 6 months. And getting like back to that, all of a sudden I lost 10 pounds. I dusted off my dumbbells in the garage. I started feeling vigor. So how do I put it in a qualitative? I just feel zeal again.
Mm. Okay. I get it. I see that. Yeah, you're right. You can't really describe it, but it is like for my age, because of what I'm doing now, I have so much more energy. I feel like I'm back in my 30s and 40s again, and I'm in my mid 60s. So uh, it's great from an energy perspective to actually do the things. I need to come in and maybe try some of the stuff you guys are doing, and I'd feel even better. I don't know, but it would be great. I think for me the hormone panel would be a good thing for me to do. So
It is, and without, a lot of people can be unhappy with a lot of things. Yet to encounter somebody unhappy with feeling vigor.
yeah, right.
But it's
Yeah.
not only that. For a man, it's the feeling when you're on low testosterone, there is a feeling of frailty. Men would be much more prone to depression from low testosterone.
Mm.
It just correlates together.
How do you know you're in that? It's like when we started our conversation, you were talking about that it comes on slowly, and you don't really realize it. But what are the wake up calls that people see?
When you start losing interest in things that you used to love doing,
Like
it's
sex?
sex is a big one.
Yeah.
Libido is one of the things that just disappears. But not only. A lot of the times, it's energy to do simple things. For me, funny enough, it was hobbies. When it started to affect me and finally caught up with me, I just lost interest in. I would love hiking, but then I'm like, I don't have that much energy to go hiking.
Okay.
I would do very consistently. I wasn't doing anymore. And it's funny enough, even something silly like challenges or solving puzzles, which I would love to do. I just, mental fogginess was my thing, and now solving riddles and puzzles isn't anymore. So it's not that it's coming on and like, oh snap, it's now I know. It eats away at the things and just leaves you dried up and kind of like, I'm not doing anything. And you'll hear it from a lot of guys that are stepping into that low testosterone area, that this is the biggest thing. And you start feeling depressed because things are correlated, but you're prone to feel depression because your testosterone is low.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, or not crazy, it might have a similar effects on women, a little bit different, manifests a little bit different. Women with low testosterone, because testosterone is important for women as well.
Mhm.
And most women that they go and complain about that type of reaction, which is more depression, and men, they get prescribed Wellbutrin, which is in essence something similar to SSRI, which is a psychiatric drug that's designed to prevent depression. So
Mhm.
instead of addressing the problem of why you're feeling this way, let's try to mask the symptom of depression. That's the approach. We don't.
Right. That's Western medicine in a nutshell. Unless, if you have an acute, you break your arm, I mean, or you need a surgery, something's, that's needed
You
right
go
now,
to the hospital, no questions asked.
best in the world. But for all the chronic stuff that we're dealing with, I think, first of all, I think we've been lied to for years. When I was little, the food pyramid and all that stuff. But so it's taking that decision, making that decision. Okay, for me, it was, I am deciding now, this was 3 years ago, that I am going to be 100% responsible for my health. And when I made that decision, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go to the doctor and they would tell me, you're fine. And I'm like, no. But then I decided, okay, well, instead of pursuing their trying to figure this out, because they don't really study this stuff, I started learning about functional medicine. And it's okay, well, let's go find the underlying cause of this. And I started digging into the journals and digging into, I pretty much got a minor in, functional medicine, doing all the studies in NIH and going to all the, PubMed and all those places to learn. And I read and I got the dictionary out, reading those big medical words, and I started understanding, oh, okay, this all makes sense now. And to what you said when we first started talking about the medical establishment being set up to, basically handle symptoms and cover them up so that you feel better, but it doesn't solve the underlying problem. And then making a decision to solve the underlying problem, by diet, exercise, getting sleep, managing my stress. Those four keys right there were critical for me. And then what you guys are doing is taking that to the next level, I think. And people who have that idea that, okay, health is an investment, and health in my well-being, my being able to live my life with energy and positivity and functional living, having a great time while I'm here and not in a stroll or in a walker or wheelchair for the last 20 years of my life, or in mental fog. Uh, that's not fun. Don't want that. So
It's
making that decision now, and even when you're young, right, is a smart move.
there are so many young people that are just not aware, and that's one of the things. Lack of symptoms doesn't equate health. A lot of people are not symptomatic, but they're already heading towards fatty liver or kidney issues. They have diminished GFR, which is the index of the kidney function. Not
Right.
understanding because they might drink, they're like, okay, they don't drink water, they're drinking just sugary substances. So maybe they're not even necessarily that obese, but their liver is already enlarged and their kidneys are struggling, and their triglycerides, which pulls sugar into the bloodstream and urine, are really elevated. So now, the moment they're going to lose that youth, the roadway to diabetes and heart conditions and liver failure, liver sclerosis, are just a roadmap that's been drawn from a younger age.
Sure. Yeah, and even Alzheimer's now they're calling type 3 diabetes.
Yeah, because it's all related. It's all related. Our body is related. That's the difference.
Mm.
Holistic and functional medicine looks as a person as a whole, and not let's try to fix mask. I'm not even saying fix, because a lot of the things are masking. They're not fixing. Because if we're giving somebody that has a very, very poor diet, and all we're telling them just will increase your dose of the diabetes medication,
Mm-hmm.
until you're going to need insulin because something like metformin won't work for you anymore, and your pancreas fully failed, and now you need insulin pump, and you need a few pumps a day, and now it's not great. That's where people start losing excrements and start losing fingers and start having a very, very inflamed and very harsh to live in reality. But when you go to primary care, it's not that somebody's going to raise that alarm. They see it so many times that it's just a known route to follow.
Right. Well, the A1C is like a test that checks for glucose, and it's an average of the last 90 days, right?
Correct.
But
And
for what I'm doing right now is I have a glucose meter, and I check my glucose every day.
mhm.
And it's the next best thing, closest thing to a continuous glucose monitor that you wear that checks your glucose continuously all day for weeks at a time, and you can check when you get that feedback loop, you can start learning about what glucose is and how it's affecting your whole, everything that's going on in your life.
It has to do with everything. We spoke about testosterone, but your glucose levels have to do with your ability to heal, with your ability to use energy. And it's not great when your body starts malfunctioning in the way that it breaks apart glucose. When your glycemic index goes up, a lot of problems follow.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing? What is BFF Medical doing to help people kind of get their
So
arms around
we
that?
are doing several things. When it comes to specifically weight loss and controlling glucose in the body, we use peptides. And usually there are some brand names that are more known in this. The peptide itself is a natural, it's a particle that's naturally occurring in our body to
Mhm.
help control our glycemic levels. And for example, we would use semaglutide, but the difference between us and how a weight loss clinic would address it, because weight loss clinic looks at success as pounds lost, we look at success as a long-term journey and not a quick result. So we
Okay.
would be very conservative on dosing on purpose, going on a longer journey where we suppress the appetite. We make sure that the person understands that they need to eat more protein to not lose muscle mass. They need to be active. We're checking in weekly because it's a weekly injection. And on low dosage, it allows not to lose muscle and keep the weight off. Yes,
Mm.
it takes a little bit longer, but you're not losing muscle mass. I know it became a thing when people were talking about the Ozempic look, when people would gunt. And the reason is there is a very simple explanation for it. Our body, our brain understands what we're going through. So when we're lowering, when we're on a very high dose, and our glycemic index is so low, we're in starvation mode. And our
Mhm.
brain goes, oh, we're starving. So it's not going to go and break apart all the fat because that's what we wanted to do, right? We're like, okay, you have all this fat, enjoy, I have energy now, consume that. No, our brain goes, wait a second, survival is the first thing, it's the most important thing. What consumes the most energy? Is that fat? Fat doesn't consume energy, fat's just there. Muscles consume energy. Let's start breaking apart muscles to save energy because we're starving. That's what we're avoiding. So, again, longevity is about keeping results for a very long time and really having them for your best health and not just saying, oh, I lost 40 pounds, 20 of them are muscle, but hey, I lost 40.
That's not the right way to do things.
Not at all. So we encourage people. We actually even offering new members that join our program. We have a collaboration with Be Different personal trainers. So they're
Mhm.
offering 4 sessions to anybody that joins our program of free personal trainer sessions. And we have a lot of ways that we help because we're doing vitals every time you're stepping in. So we're helping you make sure you're staying on top of it, encouraging, having that little conversation, making sure that our patients understand it's a journey. It's not a quick result. There are no quick fixes. We want long term longevity. We want people to be their best healthy selves instead of trying to chase after their health after it's failed.
Yeah, boy, that's so cool. That's such a great philosophy. Let me pull up your website. We can You can walk us through that.
Of course. So
So go ahead.
so this is the Year of Wellness. It's our staple program where we're actually, it's a year commitment. The way we designed it, the idea was wholesale and membership. So the winery industry and a superstore. So we want to bring everything into one, and we want to make it easy and affordable. That's why our membership program, if you'll scroll down a bit, and of course, very Temecula, very local.
That's nice. I love that picture.
It has a few options to get into. The recommended option is the buy-in option. The buy-in option includes 4 treatments and includes full panel of blood work, and it's only 360, and it covers the first month membership. So the treatments can range from anything to anything. Our services are listed underneath, and there are plenty, from shockwave to
Yeah,
plasma to
you
anything.
guys have
But
lots of treatments.
a lot of technology. We have 3,000 square feet of state of the art technology, and we have 8 treatment stations and a lot more machines that allow us to really bring state of the art approach. It's not quick solutions, it's something that helps long term. Now, when people, after they buy into the program, it's only 149 a month. And that 149 already includes any one of those treatments. Any one of
Okay.
those treatments. And you're
So
coming.
for me, like I'm taking, I don't know, I'm spending, looking at just the dollars and cents. It's probably I'm spending maybe 250, $300 a month on supplements. And
Mhm.
would I, if I were to work with you, would I want to continue that, or would there be some kind of crossover maybe?
So that's the beauty. Right now, you're taking supplements based on guesswork because something may be working, something may be working less.
Right.
With us, we'll create your supplement plan based on your body's needs. So it's going to be optimized and customized to you. So maybe you
Okay.
don't need to take as much of something, but you need more of something else. And that's where our strengths come in. So maybe more things, there are things that instead of doing a lot of pills, a weekly injection would substitute the need for. A lot
Hmm.
of vitamins have much more availability. Now, with supplements and vitamins and injections, important to understand the differences. When something goes through our digestive tract, on average, it would have bioavailability between 20 to 35, maybe if it's an amazing supplement, 40%. That means how much we can get out of it after all the digestive juices and everything, and it goes through our body. Now, if our liver isn't at best function, that means that we can filter out even less and break it apart even less. But when we're talking about IV therapy, it has 100% bioavailability. When we're talking about IM, intramuscular injections, they have 97 to 99% bioavailability. So you probably will be spending a lot less on supplements and getting much better results.
Excellent. Yeah, I love this. At BFF Medical Wellness Clinic, we're not just about treatments, we're about transforming lives.
Correct. 100%. 100%. It's truly what this is about. And the other thing, there is something that's called supplement fatigue. We have advanced options with compounding pharmacies when we can even compound a supplement specific to you.
Mm.
That's going to be just your supplement. And it can come as a powder form, and you will consume it as a shake or add it to a shake, a protein shake or whatnot, or it can come as a pill. There are so many options, and there are so many great things to explore and understand. It's this is the other big thing that we focus on, because we focus on hormones, we focus on sexual health. That's not a taboo. A lot of people just take it as, that's it. like expiration date has hit, especially with women that are pre and postmenopausal.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting a lot of mood swings and hot flashes and a lot of symptoms that have to do with hormonal imbalances. It's interesting how it happens, because usually women like that go through it, once they get their hormones rebalanced, they would bring the husband because now the libido is back in play.
Yeah, it's not my fault. It's your fault,
Oh yeah, it's a chain. It's a
right?
chain. It happens all the time. They now
Oh,
need to keep up. So a big thing.
well, very cool. How did you decide when you created this business model to include all of these services?
It was understanding that there is nothing like it. There are a lot of clinics that do
Mhm.
primary care. Some clinics, functional medicine is usually done by a non medical provider, like a naturopathic doctor. So they can't prescribe, for example. They're more limited in scope of practice than a medical practice.
Mhm.
And some functional medicine is usually functional medicine is hard to find as well. And and a lot of the things that we offer there to complete the picture. So remember when I said a superstore? We build
Yeah.
this model to be very attractive price wise. There are some VIP membership options too, but we build it to be very attractive. Now remember, the base membership is 149 a month and including a treatment.
Okay.
Now we have all the treatments and all the technology, because we know once you're feeling better or start seeing results, you would wanna, the proof is in the pudding. Not that pudding is too healthy, there are versions, but the proof is in the pudding. And that's why we want to kind of, once you're there, you'll want to do other things. Somebody that's going through a weight loss journey will most likely want to do something with body contouring or skin laxity, skin tightening procedures, which are non invasive. So a lot of those things come from.
Very good. So, what would you say would be the if somebody was curious
Mhm.
about learning more, what would be their next step?
My recommendation, we have an option to book what we call a VIP tour and kind of understand more about our facility. It's bookable
Mhm.
online through our website when you go to book now.
Okay. So you
And
can just go to the website and
Mhm.
either call or book now,
You can
book now,
call,
what
or
happened?
you can book online
Yeah. So, okay.
and just come in to kind of explore and understand our capacities, have a conversation that's not necessarily we're diagnosing anything or we're already kind of, it's just to make yourself comfortable and having an idea. It is end of the day, the responsibility is the patient's responsibility. We're
Mhm.
here to guide and to go and to help, and we'll do our very best. But as you said, nobody's going to do it for you. It's something that a patient needs to do for themselves.
And did you mention, I think you mentioned that you have um, training? Do you do webinars or
It's something that we plan.
okay.
We do have all the setup for it. It's just as a young business, we spoke about wearing a lot of hats. I am wearing a
Sure.
lot of hats,
Yeah.
and we'll get there. But definitely, one of the things that we're really big about with our patients is education. Is going that extra mile. Is giving those extra time to go over everything.
Mhm.
And because we are membership based, we have a lot of touches. You're not visiting your primary care provider just because you want to get detoxified or an IV. You're visiting because something is wrong. With us, we see you sometimes every week and do vitals every week. So it's really, the biggest thing to stay accountable is somebody's looking. That's what we do. So people are much more accountable towards it and they start to notice.
Very good. Any last thoughts before we end the show today?
It's just saying for people that are used to feeling not great, it's not a curse. It's not the way things should be or need to be. It's an opportunity. You get one body, and you don't want to chase your health. You want to be proactive about your health.
Mm.
It's just the reminder that health is the cheapest thing and the most overlooked thing when we have it because we take it for granted. When we don't, there is not enough things in the world that are nothing is more important than our health. And we are the machine that we're operating. Sometimes we're taking care of so many things and of other people and not taking care of ourselves. And that's the reason why in a plane they tell you, hey, put your oxygen mask first and then go help somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to help yourself in order to be able to help others.
Very good. Yeah, it's the ounce of prevention is equal to a pound of cure.
100%.
Those old wives' tales are sometimes really
Sometimes there's a lot of truth to them.
a lot of truth. Well, thank you for joining me today, Dany. I appreciate your time. Yeah, it was great. It's fun learning about longevity, and yeah, if anybody is looking for that edge, that special edge to get to the best health, optimize your health, go talk to Dany at BFF Medical in Temecula. And where are your other offices?
Well, right now we're not set up yet. This is where it starts. We are looking to expand in the very, very near future. So we are working on some new and exciting things. But this is our flagship. It's definitely for the foreseeable future. It's going to be Temecula,
Mm-hmm.
and Temecula has we invested a lot in this facility, and it shows.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I've been on a couple of tours. It's really nice. So yeah. Well, thank you very much again, and we'll sign off and hang on a sec when we're done. I want to chat just for a minute.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, bye, everybody.